IVM.
Welcome to another episode of Marbles Lost and Found. I am Zain.
And I'm Avanti.
And today we're going to delve into something that I think a lot of us kind of deal with in some respect or the other. What are you laughing at?
I don't know. She started laughing at me.
Zain's going to host some sundown party any minute. Hey guys, my name is Zain and you guys are listening to Sundown 101 on Saturdays. What do you girls want to listen to? Some Calvin
Brought to you live from IVM Podcast.
Some bikini girls going around. Hey.
So for those of you who don't recognize that voice, we have Sumukhi Suresh with us today. Hi, Sumukhi.
Thank you guys. Hi, my name is Sumukhi and I'm a Libran.
So am I. Wow, so many coincidences.
Well, Zen, the exit's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. See you guys. Enjoy. So today, I'm going to put my radio voice back on again now. Hope you don't mind. So today, we're going to just talk about something that a lot of us, in some way or the other, is some sort of narrative within ourselves. The quote-unquote, I'm not good enough phrase. And Sumukhi is with us here today, as I've already mentioned. And we're just going to ask her a couple of things about how that plays in her life. So Sumukhi, as you know, I've known you for a while now, basically, of a video that my partner Sid and I composed the music for a couple of years ago, which you happen to be in. And through that time, you've ended up garnering a fair amount of professional success for yourself, which at the outset is what most people see. So I just kind of want to ask then that cringe-worthy question that a lot of misinformed people might ask, like, why do you not feel good enough? You have so much going for you.
Guys, first of all, none of you know my mom. Okay? So it's really unfair. Okay, you guys need to give her a call. No, jokes apart, I think the answer to this is a little... first of all, I want to set the base straight that I don't think I would like to speak on a political correct basis. Sure. Like, what is the right thing to say?
Yes.
Right. I agree that that channelizing and projecting the right thing to say is the right way to go, but if you feel a certain way, you have to say it. Otherwise you're just going to speak something else and you're just going to end up feeling something else.
Right.
I'm very sure at some point someone as important and someone as famous as, for example, I don't know, Meryl Streep, she, I'm sure, felt I'm not good enough, and that woman doesn't even have Oscars. Oscars has her.
Right.
That's what is going on.
Right.
So someone as popular and someone as talented as her, and someone as legendary as her, I'm sure is going through I'm not good enough, is because that's a base feeling that all of us sort of go through because of the way education also puts us, right? It's all a competition in the end.
Right.
So you kind of build up on competition, plus Indian society has a little more competitive edge, and rightfully so. We're a billion of us and the jobs are handful. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
So I think that's one of those base things, and also the way I was brought up has led to me now making I'm not good enough a thing that I drive forward with.
Right.
Like if I don't feel I'm not good enough, I don't think I'm doing my job right. I know that's not good. Because that, puts unnecessary pressure on myself. But for now, it's working. And for now, I'm not losing my mind.
So interestingly, are you saying that when you feel a point of contentment, like, yeah, okay, this is all good right now, there's a second guessing that comes up at those points in time?
I'm not doing enough?
There is no such thing as this is good right now. That's one of those things. And I'm very aware. I've realized I'm very aware of the fact that feeling takes you down a lot. But that also brings me back up. Because the moment you're like, I sit down saying that, I think this is good. I've done a good job. Which never happens, but rarely if that does happen, I was like, no, one minute, you're getting too comfortable, you gotta do more. And it's just, maybe also the field that I'm in is that, which I'll deal with later, is the field that I'm in that I'm constantly, at least for the next 2 years, looking to just be like, just be
push yourself.
Just be as good, if not better than the people around you, so that.
But who decides that? Like, who decides that? When do you decide, okay, now I've reached good enough?
But that's the end of the tunnel, which I need to figure right now, is because the end of the tunnel is not good. I'm never, with this attitude, it's never going to reach that by the end of it, I'm going to be like, I guess I've done a great job. Let me take a holiday. No, that's not going to happen. And that's the inner demon that I'm figuring out, saying that, okay, it's great now. It's a great short-term idea. But what about the long term? You are not going to feel great when you actually maybe surpass someone. And then after that, what are you going to do? So I do decide those limits. But I know for a fact that I'm flawed enough to not know how to deal with it later. So I have to figure that out.
So can I just ask, was that in some way, in whatever way, a sort of motivation for you to do the show that you did, Pushpavali? And also for the listeners who don't know your show, could you give them a bit of a synopsis of it as well?
Pushpavali is a web series, it's an 8-episode web series. It's on Amazon Prime Video. It was written by me, Naveen Richard, Sumaira Sheikh, and Rahul Hota. I'm the lead in it. I'm the creator of the show. Very proud of the show because one of the reasons why I did is because, that's the way I see Pushpavali. There were 2-3 reasons that I did it. One was that nobody writes a lead for girls who are big. Because it's always either big girl falls for hot girl, hot boy, or hot girl, actually, why not? And it's one of those stereotypical fat best friend or fat this or fat that, or that dumb kid in the background eating a burger for no fucking reason. I do not understand.
Right.
So I truly did get sick of auditioning for that or getting calls for that. And just I'm sorry, not even web series, even sketches. Girls who are big are given big jokes or given big, big girl sketches.
Right.
And I just wanted to do a sketch or a show where I'm like, I'm the lead and मैं अपनी boss हूँ, मुझे करना है. No one. And honestly, it's a good percentage of it was given, credit goes to OML because they sold the show to Amazon. And also the fact that Amazon was okay for something like a stalker. For their that was technically their first show by a female creator. They could have gone the way of, it's the first female creator, but they're like, tum pagal ho, to bhi kya kar sakte hai? Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So that was one. And second is that I don't like women being portrayed as black or white. You know what has happened is that sometime, maybe a little before, we got into the image of Sati Savitri, which is what, all women are pure, pious, and they should be a certain way. Then we moved on now. If you see underlying, we still expect women to be perfect. They are the people who are the mirrors to the society. Why? I'm sorry, I'm flawed. I know I'm flawed. I know I cannot manage certain emotions and I will figure it out.
Right.
So I remember one of the main feedback that I got for Pushpavali is that, but how can she be a stalker? I'm sorry, Dhanush is a stalker in Ranjana and he's a great actor and I'm trying to portray this. It's not, and you cannot put us in boxes of she should be the right person. I'm playing a character. Of course she's wrong. And that's the reason why she's going to fall on her face. That stupid really needs to be slapped. But why shouldn't I play the stupid is all I need to know. So these were one of the 2 things that I wanted to play a flawed character and just introduce the concept of flawed characters. And now, how many of us, please, do you wake up, Avanti? Or do you go to sleep and you're like, this was the right thing to do and I'm going to do it. How many ice creams have you finished? Which was not the right thing to do. Because I have. So these were the 2 main inspirations for me to do it.
Right, amazing. And now, you talked about a little bit about your material as well. And we talked about this briefly earlier over the phone yesterday. As when you're doing your stand-up sketches as well, the idea of self-deprecation, be it on account of your upbringing or the fact that people expect certain jokes from someone who is big or something like that. Does that kind of would you say it's something along the lines of like, hey, I've cracked this joke first before you guys get at me? Is it like that kind of thing, or?
It's the rule of stand-up. Honestly, with stand-up, and this is not something which only I use. Every stand-up comedian across, when they start, the first joke is on you, so that the audience connects with you. They're like, oh, okay, you're not a threat.
She can laugh at herself.
Yeah, if she can laugh at herself, we can talk to her, or we can get to know her, or him. Both. It works for both genders.
Sure.
And that's one of the main reasons why stand-up, I sort of do it. Honestly, and this is again a challenge which I've realized is beginning when I started stand-up or when I started sketches, there was a lot of self-deprecating humor which I used to do.
Okay. I
sort of have reduced it now is because I've realized that my audiences do not like it. Like, especially women, if I do a self-deprecating joke, they get very like, Sumukhi, but you're way cooler than that, which is great.
Yeah.
So now I'm teaching myself to be like, oh, okay, I can't always. So in a 20-minute set, I allow myself to do one self-deprecating joke. Then they're okay with it.
Right.
But otherwise, it has to be like, oh, Sumukhi, you go, girl, huh? You come on, you're the voice.
That's awesome.
And this is them teaching me to
not hate on yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But my natural instinct is to hate on myself. And which is the honest truth.
And this sort of feedback, are you seeing, has it been a bit more gradual over the years, or this is something that you noticed even when you started off, like, hey, I don't need to have most of my material based on self-deprecation? Or was it something that over time perspectives and narratives change and you're like, hey, even I can change my own narrative as well? What do you reckon?
I think it's been gradual. It's also because the kind of like I remember when I started, there were hardly few videos online, and that didn't really make a difference in terms of the imaging that you have. And then I did Better Life Foundation, which is a mockumentary about an NGO, which is created by Naveen Richard and them Boxer Shorts. And there I play this, angry, no-nonsense woman who's the only sane voice in the office. And somehow after that character, me doing self-deprecating started getting jarring for everyone. And I had a small base at that time. So they were very like, 1 minute, but you're this go-getter thing in that, and then now you're cracking jokes on yourself. So that happened. Then I did a series called Behti Naak, where she has an acidic way of dealing with things, and she's just a brat, a 10-year-old motherfucker. That's what she is. Okay, and again, that is happening. And then again, so the characters that I've built end up being alpha. So now if I'm beta on stage, they don't like it.
Right.
So and also making me wonder, am I as a person beta or alpha? And I'm figuring that out for myself. I'm not sure.
Sure. I want to kind of go back to one of the first things that you said, albeit tongue-in-cheek, was when I said, what do you have to feel not good enough about? And you're like, first of all, you don't know my mom. So I want to try and steer this to how far back does this go, and what kind of led you to feel certain ways about I'm not feeling good enough, therefore I need to do this. Okay, now that I'm doing this, I need to do that. I need to push myself in this direction because of X, Y, Z. So what would you think kind of started it off for you in some way?
It's every time I avoid this question because I'm like, what a sob story, who wants to hear it? But this time I think I might just end up
do it.
mentioning it. Is that and this I think I speak for a good majority of big girls, is that when they grew up, unfortunately every American movie about big girls, the whole thing is the truth, because big girls are bullied very, very badly in school. And I know there are big boys as well, and they also go through their emotional trauma, but unfortunately not so much as the women, is because for big men it's about masculinity, and masculinity is all about power, which big boys can show. So you are a big boy, I will make fun of you, but you're masculine. But a big girl is not feminine enough. And we are taught to be feminine.
And small.
And small.
You mean
and petite.
shrinking yourself.
Yeah, and you're delicate. And if you're a big girl and you're delicate, you look like an idiot. You do not look yourself. Or even if in your head you are a delicate person, the visual is just jarring. So for me, throughout, I have been big throughout. So it's been a series of good bullying in school, and also doesn't help the fact that you're in a co-ed. It really doesn't. Right. So for me, the biggest thing where it stemmed in terms of I'm not good enough was in school.
Right.
And
you were bullied.
I was bullied massively. And okay, to a certain extent, I should have been also. I mean, come on, what a spineless personality. Sumukhi, get over it. I would have been in school, I would have only bullied myself. I'm like, Sumukhi, come on. Just buck up.
But we don't know better, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Poor little Sumukhi. Don't be so harsh on little Sumukhi.
So it's A, one of that, and B, the reason why I brought up my mom, and I think it's my classic positive negative about her, is she's a go-getter. She's very badass. It's so badass that I'm like, stop it now, come on. Now how much to match to you? And women do, no? We tend to be as good as our moms, or we want to be as much, as well, or
better.
Or better, or just be like, my mother's approval is one of the things. Even though everyone's like, daddy's little girl, great accent, great line. No. We all want our moms to approve us. So that approval matters a lot, and that coupled with the fact that there is a good amount of bullying, not enough a worth for the way I look, has led to the fact that I'm not good enough. Very recently, I'm not joking, 2 weeks back I had a conversation with Kaniz, and this was right after Pushpavali shoot, which had a lot of season 2 shoot, which had a lot of physical activity this time. It was a lot of physical harm on me, and I sort of did it with as much. I did it very well. I had a good time, and I didn't have a problem it being written, something as simple as, hitting your head on the table or cutting your hand, etc., etc. We did it, and then I remember I met Kaniz, and she's like, the problem with you is that you don't think it's not even you hate your body. It's just you don't think it's something even important. And I was like, okay, lady, stop talking to me like a privileged person, but she's correct. Her privilege has helped me understand it's true. I do not give importance to my body. And she's like, you don't give it importance is the reason why you don't like yourself, is the reason why it's being projected a certain way.
Holy shit.
And I had no words for her, because it was the truth. I of course giggled and made 3 good jokes, and I wish I could tell you guys now, but it's just that, imagine it started from school and it's still figuring itself out, and that's the truth. We figure it.
Yeah.
We don't figure it out at all.
No.
We don't. Exactly.
We spend a lot of time trying.
We feel a little comfortable with it sometimes, and then it's back to
exactly.
normal.
Yeah, exactly.
The only way I'm not good enough is helping me is on work. And it truly is. I don't know if I want to give up that attitude, because that's the only way it's working out for me right now. I don't know.
So then if it's only helping you on the work side, does it kind of manifest itself very differently when it comes to relationships and things like that? Things like that with you?
It does because, it's very simple, right? If I'm doing an imaging for you professionally, I meet you professionally, and I'm
imaging?
Okay, oh great. This is a new word I figured out.
Oh yes.
When you see me, when you meet me, this is something a lot of us influencers are doing, is that if the way you come across to your audience, what is that? So right now, someone who is loud, someone who's clearly cheerful, someone who makes a certain kind of content, I come across as someone who's very like, oh, I'm sure she's got it, figured it out. She's gonna do it. She's gonna, at one point, she's gonna peak or whatever it is. But since the whole thing is manifested by I'm not good enough, when you meet someone, you get to know them a little more. And in my case, when I meet a guy and if he gets to know me a little more, he realizes, oh, it's niche to sab. It's, how you have a piece of land and then the foundation's actually only garbage because someone's been putting garbage there because there was a garbage dump before. It's like that because the person's like, okay, strong girl. Okay, clearly not strong girl. Oh my God, garbage. So it's one of that. So is it his fault or mine? Mostly.
I mean, it's interesting because what you're describing is kind of like 100% of the human population,
yeah,
right?
Pretty much.
Which
but
is
we act like it's not.
We
just act like it's not.
But she's so insecure. It's like, yeah, what are you? Like, you're some fucking secure person. Like, it's true. There's so much pretense.
Yeah.
I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine recently, Tejas Menon, who was on the previous season. We were talking about, how far back it goes and how we're trying to figure it out. So, like, the example that we kind of came to was like, the idea of, say, smoking, for example. People may on average start, let's just say, for argument's sake, in their mid-teens. They might just start then. And some people continue to, maybe some people quit after a couple of years. Some people, say, flash forward 10 years later, they want to quit, but they've just been struggling to. And I would like to assume that most people do not start smoking and then decide that cigarette now is part of their personality. Like, I'm pretty sure nobody thinks that way. They always...
No one decides it. Actively.
I mean, I'm sure someone who's just like, smoking, man, it's part of who I am, bro. Okay, fine, more power to you, whatever. But the thing is that most people know that it's a vice or a crutch or some kind of habit or whatever. So they're aware that it's a habit. But now imagine that you've picked up a habit or you just kind of decide that this pattern is part of who you are as a person. And it's only when you reach maybe your late 20s or early 30s that you say, oh, so this is a bad habit that I've had for about 20 years. How the hell do you break that? It's a completely different scene altogether. Everyone in this room, and for the people listening, it's not just the three of us in this room. There's like 5 other people in this room.
Staring at us.
And I think we all kind of feel the same way in some regard or the other.
And also I'm guessing the I'm not good enough thing comes on the basis of basically I'm just scared to fail. Because if I keep telling myself I'm not good enough and then I do something and if I fail at it, I was like, oh, but I always told you I'm not good enough.
Yeah, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So it's cute and it's all, oh my God, poor Sumukhi. But deep down, okay, come on, Sumukhi, don't be an asshole, buddy.
Right.
Don't be scared of me failing. And it all boils down to the fact that I don't like to fail. So if I have to win, so if by telling you that I'm not good enough and if I fail, I've technically won because I already told you what I did. And this unnecessary mind loop is not needed if you just face the fact that, okay, I won, okay, I lost. And it's if you deconstruct it, I think it just comes down to.
But we aren't taught to fail or taught to lose in our school systems.
Yeah, losing's not an option.
Yeah.
And if we lose, I mean, the shame and the guilt and the.
And when you just think of like our marks system in this country, like you're not getting into college when you have 100%. Like, what more can you possibly do?
But but I mean, I'm trying to be a devil's advocate because the other side of that is a competition also has made us. Has wired us a certain way where good percentage of Indians are very efficient. On a regular day, if we have a lazy day going on, we're way more efficient than our, Western and abroad counterparts. Because they are more strategic. Oh my God, I'm going to put in a presentation. We're like, buddy, mitti kaun layega? Mere ko lana hai na. So in the end, Indians are way more hustling is also because of the way we've been built to be like, compete, make sure that you work hard enough. So do we give up on that? And that's, I mean, if I have children at some point, I'd like them to be efficient.
Sure.
I don't want them to kill themselves in competition. But if the efficiency goes away, then so is the whole solve is that there are no exams? Is the whole solve is that there is no competition? Because that's scary as well. That's the other end.
Those
of
are
the
both
spectrum.
extremes. I mean, I guess it's like a double-edged sword.
No, but I guess it's the way that you're taught to deal with the competition. That so for me, what happened, I don't know, is in school, my parents weren't pushy parents, but they were like, yo, why do you keep failing in Hindi and why do you keep failing in like history? It's so weird. I used to get like 3 out of 50 in history and stuff. So, and physics and biology.
There it is.
And especially Hindi, even Marathi. But anyway, but they
I'm trying
were
to think
just
of other subjects that were left. Sorry, anyway.
English and maths and geography.
Oh my God, were you nailing math? Come on.
So what was I saying? I was saying I never thought of myself as a loser or as a failure in school, because even though I was failing, there was no, Avanti, you suck. Avanti, you're a loser. You're not going to get anywhere in life. And I think honestly, and I hate doing this, like bigging myself up or being like patting myself on the back or patting my family on the back or whatever. But I think it really helped me because I failed a lot. I mean, if you want to look at it at failing, like for the rest of my life up until now, I've constantly had like f***ups in my life. And there's no part of me that has felt like I need to kill myself for this, or I'm going to fall into a deep, dark hole because I feel like I failed at something. And I think that's been helpful. I don't know, like for you to be like kinder to yourself when you f***ed up.
That is incredible, because I'm just starting to learn on account of therapy what that is like. Because for most of my life, it's just been you f***ed up. Yeah. It just goes. And I'm guessing you sort of feel like this.
She spoke all of that. I didn't understand anything.
I was feeling the same way. I was like, wow.
I guess what I was saying was that it helps to... We can cancel this entire podcast now.
No, I mean, it's great. It's so great.
We have to keep it. Because you know what it is also goes to show how you deal with failure.
Yeah.
But the moment you spoke that, it immediately gave me anxiety of wait.
I'm f***ing up.
Wait, so am I f***ing up? Wait, what did I do to f*** up? Wait, am I... What
As
come
in
again?
I f***ed up by being harsh on myself for f***ing up.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, so I'm not supposed to be harsh on myself? Wait, 1 minute, do I have to have the sip of water when I don't...
Right. No, so I don't know. Yeah.
I get it. I honestly do get it.
You know, but also on a very... the wordings of winner or a loser is never going to leave.
Yeah.
Because now it's too set. And it's very decently... As I'm doing my stand-up now, because I'm building my hour... I'm shooting my specials soon. And the director of Pushpavali, Debbie... So both of us have very similar vibe that way, is that both of us are very difficult on, with us, on ourselves, with each other. We're very like, no, this is not good enough. This is not good. But she comes, I think, from a space of not insecurity. She comes from a space of, I think, more fiercefulness. I think, I may be wrong, but it was something which I figured out, and she was telling me, where I was like, no, I need to figure out like a thread for my special, etc. She's like, why don't you just speak about the fact that you're a loser? I said, okay, you know what, that's a thought. And I truly went in the self-deprecating way. She's like, no. She's like, why is that a problem? She's like, you are a great loser. I'm like, it's true. In the loser association, I'm really killing it. And also the fact that it's okay if you're a loser.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I mean.
It's okay that if you don't know certain things. It's okay if you're in a car and you don't know who the hell is Mumford and Sons. Because I still don't know them. And I still keep humming it, and I don't understand the damn car conversation. I'm like, buddy, you have to put Kumar Sanu at some point. Otherwise, this conversation is just not redeeming itself. Because also the parameters that you put for being a loser. Okay, so if you are a personality type of loser, is that wrong? Because the more I'm thinking...
What's a personality type of loser?
It's someone who... for the simplest definition, I'm also sure it's flawed, is that someone who is not able to get a sort of an odd one out in a group.
Okay.
Maybe, because usually you put that to the loser, no? Like if it's a group of 5 and there's that one person who's not so gelling, is also because that dumb person's not understanding that it's not the group that the dumb person should hang out, which is my 31 years, by the way. So, and it's just, okay, so you are someone who doesn't know certain things, you may not have the right... currently speaking good English, knowing things, being woke, saying the right things is all a person who's a winner. But what if I don't know? What if I'm learning? Does that make me not a winner? Does that make me a bad loser? No, just okay. You're a loser. You're a good loser. Well done. So I'm trying to go the path of I'm going to just embrace the fact that I'm a loser, and I'm really happy about it.
Yeah. Well, and this is really interesting because I think it talks about, Zain and I spoke a little bit about mediocrity, but we couldn't really figure out what we were saying, both of us. So we were not able to figure it out. But I think what you're describing is, this is not mediocrity. This is, I'm okay. I'm okay. Like, I don't need to improve every step of the way and every aspect of myself all the time.
I'll tell you, this comics get together.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was just also going to say that, and it's funny because I'm a therapist, and people come to me.
This changes everything. I didn't bring my checkbook.
Because people come to me with this whole goal of like self-improvement, and sometimes I sit back and I'm like, why? What you're describing is you responding to life, and it doesn't sound like it's actually getting in the way of anything. So what's going on here? Why is this huge culture of like, we have to feel bad about when we're doing bad things, or you know what I mean? And we have to improve it all the time. So I like what you said about like, I'm just going to embrace like,
it's really
not being a great loser.
Owning it. Yeah. Just having, essentially just changing your relationship with failure altogether. Like, I know as my own pattern that I know that I avoid failure like the plague, and I think the majority of my actions or inactions through life have been based on, all right, if I do this, chances I'll fail, so let's just go the other way, and I think just allowing yourself to just, and we've all been in positions where we failed, but it's just like, when you are in that space, you can either kind of go, okay, this is confirmation bias that I am useless, that my life does suck, that I'm not going to get better, Or, and I know that this is easier said than done because years of therapy has finally got me to this point where I can go, all right, fine, shit happened. How can I move forward now? It's okay.
Shit happened and it doesn't make my personality.
It does. Yeah, it
it's
doesn't.
Just that I fucked up here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And it doesn't mean that the end of the world is coming. And there are points where I've thought that if X, Y, Z did happen, the end of the world is coming. And X, Y, Z did happen, but I'm still here recording a podcast about mental health. So like it all kind of worked out, I suppose.
See, but I'm trying to throw a curveball here, or I think I am, is that for me, being a loser was not about not winning. Because I'm a loser, but I like to win. Which is the mental, I think.
But that's why you see yourself as a loser. Because you don't feel like a winner because you like to win.
Yeah, so it's one of the reasons why I'm like, okay, but if I'm a loser, then I don't win because that's not cool. So I think it's also the reason why, the way I'm going in terms of loser, and I'm being very, I don't know practical is the word, but I'm being very shallow about it, is that, when you hang out, after a certain age, when you hang out with people, see, school, college, you pretty much equals everywhere. Maximum one group is going to be cooler than the other in what? Right? But as you grow older, things get more complicated. But the concept of cool groups and the concept of cool friends still never goes away.
Yeah.
Right.
You always want to hang out with the cool people. And which is one of the things that I've constantly noticed is that I must accept the fact that I'm 31, but I still at some point yearn to be part of the cool group. But at no point am I thought, what if I'm the cool group?
Yeah.
What are the losers of the cool group?
Comedian.
I've literally never thought that until this very instant.
I'm
like,
the cool
whoa.
group. Yeah.
But it's a thing that every profession or people from every point of life go through, saying that, yaar, us group ke saath hang out karte to kitna maza aata. It's not. I mean, that's also because it's set in our school, right? Like, you have to have the right set of friends. You all go for road trips and you do that. What if I just want to stay home, cook some paneer and go to sleep? That's all. And maybe party once in 2 weeks. It's not like I don't want to party, but har raat kaise karenge, boss?
I mean, it's this kind of spills into, it's not just about friends and groups. It's about the kind of job you choose. It's where you decide to live, whether you decide to live with family or not live with family, like whatever your decisions are.
Yeah.
There's always a sense of like, wait, am I like measuring up to like what other people are doing?
Yeah.
And that's the shallow part of the whole thing. And I feel like that is something, what is happening also is that people go for the deeper thought, which is the good thing. But the deeper thought gets solved. But the shallow thought of 1 minute par mera dost cool nahi hai, or I don't have a cool group to hang out to, or I don't have a solo trip to Amsterdam or whatnot. You don't have these things means that you're not good enough or you're not a cool person. Because also in the end, in the back of our heads, all of us want to be cool people.
Yeah.
It's
always like glass is half empty otherwise.
Yeah, so that's for me that I want to get rid of that. It's like
I think we all do. You and me on this one. And I think unfortunately this is all we have time for today.
Damn it,
but
guys.
But Sumukhi, this was awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Just want to let you guys know that whatever happens, you are not cool people. I want to hang out. No, you are. Please don't do that to me.
Okay, so are we getting Amazon Prime and watching Pushpa fully?
Yeah.
Yeah, please. Guys, next time I say you better finish 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. I'm Zain.
I'm Avanti.
And we are Marbles Lost and Found. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
What do we have to do?
Welcome to What a Play, you guys. This is the favorite sports podcast of several sports persons such as myself, Dudeja and Mikhail, who also happen to be the hosts.
Yes, you should definitely listen to our podcast for our take and quite a uninformed but hilarious take on sports every week. We give out awards, we discuss what happened in the world of sports, and
we take breaks as well.
We come up with jingles and sound effects on the go. So you should definitely give us an example of a sound effect, Dudeja.
Bolo Matthew Vade.
Yeah, tune in for some of that, bro. You can catch us on the IVM network every Wednesday on the go. On the Wednesday, in the Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, What a Player. What a Player W, Wednesday W.
Wow. Wednesday. Wednesday to Wednesday, What a Player, Matthew Vade.
नमस्ते, मैं हूँ सौरभ चंद्रा
और मैं प्रणय कुटस्थाने।
जब महफिल खत्म होते होते दरवाजे के बाहर पुलिया के ऊपर हम दुनिया भर की जटिल समस्याओं को सॉल्व करने में लग जाते हैं तो हो जाती है पुलियाबाजी।
अब आजकल के अपार्टमेंट वालों ने तो कभी पुलिया देखी नहीं होगी, पर आप फीलिंग तो समझ ही सकते हैं।
तो आइए शामिल हो जाइए हमारी पुलियाबाजी में, जहां प्रणय और मैं एक से एक इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक्स की तह तक जाएंगे।
आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, बिटकॉइन, पाकिस्तान, मेडिकल एजुकेशन, करेंसी क्राइसिस, कभी हम दोनों के साथ और अक्सर स्पेशल एक्सपर्ट गेस्ट की कंपनी में।
सुनिए हमें IVM की वेबसाइट, ऐप या अपने फेवरेट पॉडकास्टिंग प्लेटफॉर्म पर हर दूसरे हफ्ते।